a deserted roadside, hiding a deadly secret. One call to 911, and a routine patrol steps into a nightmare. No witnesses, no evidence, just a body, and silence. But beneath that silence, lies unravel, stories shift, and one man's truth begins to fracture. What really happened that morning, and how far would someone go to make it disappear? This is a story of obsession, deception, and a murder that refused to stay buried.
911, what's the address for your emergency?
We're off the exit of Cressy, Iowa, over by a public shooting area.
What's going on?
There is a dead body on the side of the road.
Okay. Are you guys right where it's at now?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell if it's male or female?
It's female for sure.
Did you check to make sure she wasn't breathing?
Now, half of her face is eaten off by, animals.
Okay. How far off the roadway is she?
2 feet.
Okay, we're going to get him out that way. Thank you so much, okay?
No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
On February 26, 2023, I received a call of a possible deceased individual. In that particular moment in time, you don't essentially know what you're walking into, but you know it's bad. So I immediately called for backup, and I activated my body cam. Whichever unit gets here first, probably going to want to block off, maybe just a little bit south of the bridge here. I'm pretty much just north of the overpass here on. Anytime that someone believes they discover a body, you automatically have red flags going. I got an investigations guy coming. He might need to talk to you guys real quick, and then you should be good to go. Deputy Hills arrived on scene shortly after I requested backup.
So I was tasked with speaking with the actual 911 caller. It was important to talk to those two because they had found the body. But we separated the two. You want to get people separated because speaking to them individually gets their direct story with no interruptions, and you can tell rather quickly whether or not it jives. First person that I talked to was the older gentleman, and he had told me his name was Thomas.
So I'm Investigator Hills. I'm an investigator with the Sheriff's Office, okay? Just going to talk about today. It sounds like you may have been the one that has discovered it. What was your perspective in everything?
We took the exit, and as we were speeding by, it caught my eye, the shape of a human body.
My job is to get the answers and find the truth of what really happened, and if people are being deceptive.
My peripheral, last thing I noticed looked like a human hand. So then I told him he better turn around and check it out. It looked like the real thing to me.
After speaking with Thomas, I needed to speak with the younger witness, Antonio, to get his account of their finding and what led to their discovery that day. He was the actual 911 caller. So I first asked Antonio what led them to that point in the day and their discovery.
So you guys were on your way here when it happened?
Yep.
So according to my call screen, it looks like about 2:18. All right.
While speaking with Antonio, things start going through my head. Who is this dead person? How long have they been out here? Do these two have anything to do with this person's ending in this ditch?
Did you call anybody else before that, or did you just call 911?
Straight to you guys.
Did you call, or did your...
I called.
Okay.
Yep.
So, about that time, you guys were coming out here. Which way were you coming?
This way.
Yeah, it's north. So you guys were coming this way, going
Yep.
towards the range. And
Yep.
it's just the range. It's just...
Yeah.
Based on the information that I had in talking to those two, I didn't believe they had anything to do with this body. After speaking with Antonio, I turned my attention towards the body. There had been a recent snowstorm, so obviously the snow sitting on top of her would help maybe find a date as to when she would have been left there. Another big thing that I noticed is that she was missing a shoe.
You think to yourself, you try to not jump to conclusions on things. At this point, every detail matters. She didn't have any form of identification or any personal belongings other than the clothing that she was wearing. The more I looked at it, the more it seemed that the scene wasn't telling the whole story. Got like a ligature mark on her neck from the look of it. If you look at her neck, there's that big purple. So as I approached her, I noted that she had a dark purple, almost black ligature mark mid-throat about the thyroid area. We knew we had a murder on our hands, and the mystery was just beginning. And I know that whoever did this already had a head start and we were gonna have to play catch up. So after observing her, I returned to my patrol vehicle and I started to document what she was wearing and relay that information back to investigations guys.
There's a missing person recently out of Council Bluffs. We might want to lock that whole area down.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I'm trying to figure out if it's gonna be it or not. All right, man.
She's wearing a tannish green shirt.
Yep, she got a green shirt on with a tan coat.
That's probably gonna be her.
Based on clothing description, it was ultimately discovered she was in fact a missing person who is identified as Eileen Gowan, who had been reported missing approximately 2 weeks prior by her daughter. I remember feeling of empathy towards Eileen. She's a human being. It wasn't something that just happened. We were looking at a murder scene. She hadn't just vanished.
My relationship with my mom was, I was her baby and her favorite, so I was spoiled. She was just my best friend. We were very close. Her personality is big. She is outgoing. She loves to live life. She'll walk up to a random stranger and just start having a conversation. Her laugh was very contagious.
My mother was hardworking, tough, very caring, would take care of anybody, would do anything for anybody. And she was definitely there for us kids. She had a tough life. We had a tough life growing up. She had 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, just to make it.
I got a call from our detective and he asked if there was a time that he could meet up with me for me to answer some questions. I invited him over to my house and we sat down at the table. When he told me that it was her, I just lost it. I couldn't talk no more, and any hope that we had that it wasn't her was gone. Worst news I've ever received.
My sister had called and said that we needed to go to my aunt's, that the detectives were going to be calling sometime that day. And so she picked me up, took me to my aunt's. We were all just sitting there and they said that they confirmed that it was our mother, and everybody just started screaming and crying, and I about had a panic attack. I didn't know how to breathe. It just, everything stopped.
Do you have any CID coming out? Any investigators?
Doty and Hadley are both coming out.
Doty? Yeah. Sweet. It might be his call and stuff now.
So once we were indeed aware that this was in fact a homicide, multiple personnel from multiple agencies started to show up to assist. We began to cordon off the area with police tape. We were unable to locate anything of real evidentiary value. No footprints, no personal items, no murder weapon, anything of that nature. It's extremely frustrating. Hey buddy, what's up, man?
Where are we going?
Right over here on the left, kind of right past that concrete block there.
When I arrived on scene, I met with Deputy Norman.
What's the story on this?
So I'm only working the very back of the bit.
Not yet. Well, let's see what we got here first.
He led me to Eileen Gowan's body. After seeing how little evidence was there, it really was a mystery to us of what happened. Was she killed somewhere else and dumped here? Or did the killer clean up and take everything with them? Whoever did this left behind very little answers and a whole lot of questions.
With no clear suspect in mind and almost no physical evidence, we had to go back to the beginning. Back at the station, investigators immediately began to pull Eileen's file and view her missing persons report that had been filed by Eileen's daughter, Nicole, approximately 2 weeks prior. She told us Eileen was employed at Sugar's Lounge, which is a small bar in Council Bluffs.
How about other employees at Sugar's? Was she tight with any of them, or was that more of a bicker back and forth kind of thing?
Yeah, they're all bitches.
Okay. None of them would have ever dropped anything to lend her a hand.
Yeah.
Once we had found out that she was frequently involved in some conflict with coworkers that was indeed relevant to the investigation. So now we weren't just looking at Eileen's disappearance. We were looking at problematic relationships she might have had with individuals that were in her life, what motives those people might have had. And now we're facing the growing mystery of what had in fact happened to Eileen.
When we first found Eileen's body, we had basically nothing to go on. She didn't have her phone on her, didn't have her purse, no evidence on the scene, no tracks in the snow. So we were starting from scratch. All we knew, she was reported missing a couple weeks earlier by her daughter. Eileen's daughter gave us a name of Eileen's on and off again boyfriend, and his name was Ivan Sam Brammer, and he goes by Sam.
Your mom and Sam have known each other and been basically on again, off again for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
What was their relationship like over there?
Not a healthy one. When my mom went missing and we went searching for her, we had a lot of family come from out of state, but Sam didn't help. He didn't offer to help.
The information that we received from Nicole was that when alcohol was introduced into the mix, it became a very unhealthy relationship.
I talked to my mom a lot about all the red flags that I've seen in the relationship and how toxic it was. When I say she loves hard, she gave it all she could until there was nothing left.
We found out that Sam and Eileen knew how to push each other's buttons. So if they were upset or mad about something that was going on, then it would get very volatile. It's loud and violent, but no physical contact that anybody was aware of.
He didn't like her drinking. He thought he could change her from get her to stop drinking. I told him that he can't because she won't change for her kids. She's not going to change for a man. And he seemed to think that he could change her, so he kept trying with her. But there was things on his part and her part that were not healthy. They both had jealousy issues.
Jealousy does a lot of odd things to people, and then when you introduce alcohol, it exacerbates the issues.
He has a very short temper,
Mm-hmm.
and littlest things will set him off, and it's like ridiculous. When they were good, they were good. When it was not, I was constantly in the middle of it because she's my mom and that's my boyfriend's dad. At the time that my mom went missing, I was dating Justin, which is Sam's son. We met through Sam and my mom. I would lean on him for support and he would lean on me for support. When my mom and Sam fought.
When you say in the middle of it, does that mean it became physical or was it just verbal, or what do you mean?
No, verbal, but she would call me and talk to me about it.
Now we have the name of a person who's close to her. So we needed to talk to Sam, find out whatever happened to Eileen. And we need to know a little bit more about Eileen before we talked to Sam, what she was doing, where she was. We knew that she was at work at Sugar's, so we reached out to her boss and went to Sugar's. We interviewed several individuals. Her coworkers mentioned Eileen was a hard worker. Sam worked there as well. Sam was a dishwasher. She didn't fight with other people inside the restaurant. There may have been some misunderstandings or disagreements with some coworkers, but that's normal. You're going to have that. You can't get along with everybody.
Security footage was pulled because we needed to retrace Eileen's last known steps. So that meant everything from when she left the diner.
That's when it got a little interesting.
The clothing that Eileen was wearing in the surveillance video matched the clothing that the female was wearing on the side of the road. And she had her purse in her hand in the surveillance video, but it was not at the crime scene. She got in the passenger seat of a blue Ford pickup. You see her in the truck. Whoever was driving that Ford truck was probably the last person that saw Eileen alive.
We have a lot more questions than answers at this point in time, and it looks like something much bigger. We really needed to interview Sam Brammer, so we turned our attention directly to him. What we did first was run a criminal history, and in the research of Sam, we were able to determine that that blue Ford that we saw in the surveillance video did belong to him. Knowing that they have a volatile relationship and the history of their relationship, that raises a red flag.
We needed to talk to Sam. We eventually did locate him and brought him in for questioning. We just asked him what happened that morning that he was seen with Eileen.
How you doing? Pretty good. Sam, this is Detective Brannigan. Okay. He's gonna sit in with me today, all right?
Okay. Right now, you're the last person who saw her, okay, that we know of. That we absolutely know of. Let's say you picked her up from Sugar's at about 8:30. Is that in the ballpark?
I'm not too sure on the time.
Okay.
Sam told us that after he had picked up Eileen, he dropped her off at a friend's house. His name was Mike, and he lived north of Council Bluffs.
Sam was very credible. He did not show any signs of deception whatsoever during our interview. So if Sam wasn't the last person to see Eileen alive, maybe Mike was the last person to have seen her alive. So we turned our attention to Mike, checking Mike's history. There is no criminal record. He has no criminal history, but we brought him in for questioning. And that's when the mystery deepened.
Yeah, you know. All right. Sergeant Roberts, Detective Ron Brannigan, interviewing Mike. in reference to Eileen Gowan. They just kind of tell us how you guys know each other, how she ended up out there at your place, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of move from there.
Mike was very cooperative. He told us how he knew Eileen.
She was a waitress at Sugar's, and I knew her from in there, and I talked to her before and stuff like that. And then she told me that she got kicked out and she needed a place to stay. That's why you can stay at my place for a couple of days.
She had told him Sam kicked her out of the house after they had that argument, and Mike said, well, you can come sleep on my couch. Come stay with me.
And then, night was Friday, she called me and she said, I won't be coming back. She says, we're getting back together, her boyfriend. And all I know is his first name's Sam. I'd never had any contact with her after that.
So now we have the story from Mike. We have the latest story from Sam Brammer. Both are completely different. Only one of them can be true. So now we have to run down all these facts and verify what we're being told. So did Sam drop her off at Mike's house like he says, or did she never make it up to Mike's house like Mike says? So these are questions that have to be answered, and we need to find out who's lying.
There wasn't any evidence to say Mike was involved with what happened to Eileen, so our focus shifted. Sam informed us that he had dropped Eileen off at Mike's, and after that he went to a gas station. And so we went to that gas station to get the footage to confirm Sam's story. When we reviewed the video, they saw that Sam pulled up to a gas pump, pumped gas, and Eileen could not be seen in the vehicle from the footage. Sam claimed after the gas station, he went straight home, and we didn't have anything to confirm or conflict with his story.
Things are getting murky now. We have no witnesses. We only have Sam and Mike, and whether they're telling us the truth, telling us the lies, what we do know absolutely is that she was fine that morning. She and Sam left Sugar's, and we haven't seen her since. So we were able to confirm part of Sam's story. Eileen did get into his truck that morning, and he did take her out of Sugar's parking lot. That much was true. And then during the investigation, 911 received a call from Emily, Sam's granddaughter, and she reports that she was concerned for the safety of her grandpa. She said that Sam had been drinking heavily and had been making some comments that led her to believe that he was going to take his own life. Officers eventually located Sam outside of Kicker's Bar here in Council Bluffs. Sam was very intoxicated.
We were called to check your will. Again, I haven't patted you down, so I just don't want you to reach in your pockets for weapons or anything, but we were called to check your welfare. Okay, I think you talked to your granddaughter earlier, and she was concerned about you, some of the statements that you made to her. I'm here for you, man. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
My girlfriend, it was like a week ago, me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and apparently he raped her.
What's his name?
The only thing I know, he goes by Mike.
Sam mentions that Mike had raped Eileen. To make this allegation against Mike, that's a very serious allegation. If by some chance this was true, that would completely change the trajectory of the investigation. We still have to check that allegation that Mike had raped Eileen. This is new information. We still have to prove that it either is, this did happen, or that it's not credible.
Where's that at? Where'd they move in together?
It's out by, down by Sugar's, like 2 miles from Sugar's.
He was obviously having some issues. He was saying some things that made other people believe that he was going to take his life. That is enough for a police officer to take custody of him and conduct an emergency committal. It's always easier when a person commits themselves, checks themselves into the hospital, and that is what ultimately Sam decided to do.
Do you care which hospital we go to? Jenny. Okay, sorry, I didn't get something.
So now we need to talk to Mike again. We brought him in a second time for an interview.
Hey, how you doing? All right.
He was cooperative. I confronted him about this allegation.
When she did live there with you for 2 or 3 days, what kind of relationship did you have with her?
Nothing. I never even ate with her. I never had anything to eat with her. I might have a beer and...
No sexual relationship whatsoever?
And she was in one room and I was in the other.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
I asked him during our interview, did you force her to have an intimate relationship? He denied it.
Can you tell me, is that any of that accurate? Any of those statements?
I would not do that.
When we interviewed Mike, he pointed towards Sam and said that we should be looking at Sam. We didn't know if Mike was being truthful and trying to get the spotlight off of him, or if he was telling us the truth about his concerns with Sam.
We asked him what was going on that morning that Eileen went missing, what he did with Eileen that morning, and where he last saw her.
So you dropped her off by 5. What did you do then?
Went to work.
Okay, you work?
No, I work over.
Okay.
We reached out to his employer. We not only spoke with his employer, but we also spoke with coworkers. Everything he told us checked out. Coworkers verified everything that we had a question on. His timeline checked out perfectly. This allegation by Sam Brammer, I completely discounted it. And Mike, he was an open book for us. So with no physical evidence tying Sam Brammer or Mike to what happened to Eileen, the mystery only gets deeper. We have some more work to do.
My mom was a fighter, and she fought her whole life, basically. She fought breast cancer and won, completed all her radiation, and the cancer was gone. She raised 4 kids on her own. That was hard, but she fought, and she did it. She gave it all she could.
Me and my mom liked to cook, so she would cook a couple, 3 times a week, you know, and we'd be in the kitchen drinking beer, cooking, playing country music. My mother was the person that would just give you the shirt off her back. The people that sit on the side of the road, she'd give them $1. I mean, she just had the big heart. Nobody deserves to be murdered, for one, but she was awesome.
So now we're stuck. We don't have any new leads, but we kept getting pulled back to Sam. We're watching for when he is released from the hospital. So when that day comes, we're advised by the hospital, he's checked out, he's home. Sam calls and wants to come in.
So let's get back to the day that you picked her up at church.
Oh, right up front, she came out. Okay, she came out, that's when she wanted to stop at her mom's house.
What she said she had to do inside the apartments there? Why did she want to go to her mom's house that day?
She just said she wanted to talk to her mom. That's what she told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Did she come out with anything? Did she have anything?
She had her purse, and she had a black safe with her.
She had the safe with her?
She had a safe with her.
During Sam's interview, he added that they made another stop, that they'd went to Eileen's mom's house, and she had picked up the safe. It had $1,200 in it, and she was there for a handful of minutes while picking that up.
All right, so did she just hold the safe? She just hold on to it? What did she do with it then?
No, she got in the passenger side, she set the safe on the thing, and then she put her purse beside her, and
okay,
that's when I took her home.
So over the course of the interviews, he adds more and more details. They've got the safe. It has all of Eileen's savings.
Which I did pick her up.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. Basically, you told me that you went straight to Mike's house, the house.
No. Remember when I told you she got a car, and that's when we just discussed about me.
Yeah, I asked you, I said, what did you talk about on your way to Mike's house? And you said about the apartment, just like you just said.
Well, yeah, just going.
Yeah, I thought, my assumption was you went straight there, dropped her off, and at 2 or 3 miles you talked about what was going on.
I was taking her, yeah, I didn't take her straight there.
Okay.
Honest people sometimes forget things, and they'll tell you, but that's not how it worked with Sam Brammer. He knew that he was coming in to talk to us additionally because we found information that just didn't add up. So now he's throwing in these extra things to make his story more and more credible. Is this a ruse? Is this just another lie that he's telling us? Is this just another story to misdirect the investigation? Sam plays off that information that he took Eileen to her mother's apartment as just being the forgetful old man. He's, oh, I just forgot about that. And when you confront him with something new, he changes the story, morphs the story just a little bit. So at this point, I don't take anything at face value. He's given us so many different lies, so many different stories.
One of the big pieces in modern day cases is digital evidence, whether it's cell phones, surveillance footage, GPS locations. Video footage captures a moment in time and is good evidence because it is a unique perspective.
Sam gave us that information that he took Eileen to her mother's apartment to get that safe, and that's easily verifiable from the surveillance footage. Once we watched that footage, we could see that it fit in perfectly with the timeline, with what Sam was telling us up to that point. Watching that video, we're able to see Eileen enter the apartment building. She walks directly to the elevators, goes up to the second floor, comes off the elevators, walks directly to her mother's apartment. There's no hesitation. She's inside her mom's apartment for just a matter of seconds, really. Just comes out with the safe, walks directly back to the elevators, goes down to the first floor, the lobby, and walks out of the building. The video confirms that at this point in time, Eileen is completely comfortable. She's not under any type of duress. At this point, everything that Sam is telling us during the second interview now is kind of making sense. And maybe Sam didn't do anything to her. Maybe Sam did exactly what he's saying. He took Eileen to her mother's apartment, then he dropped her off at Mike's house. The only thing that we're trying to do is really determine exactly what happened next. That's where the story starts to unravel. That's where things started to go off the rails.
Even though Sam claimed he dropped Eileen off at Mike's house, we did not find any evidence that he had done that.
So, okay, where did they go? Did she actually get out of the truck? Next, we canvassed the entire area next to Eileen's mother's apartment and Mike's residence. Then we downloaded city traffic cameras. The reason we downloaded these videos was simply to track a timeline. We can see what direction he's driving at what time, and if we can see inside the vehicle. Earlier in the day, at one particular angle, at one particular camera, you can see perfectly right through the windshield and see what's going on in that truck. We can see Sam driving, and it looks like that tan coat Eileen was wearing is up around her head, and she's in an awkward position. That body is kind of sideways, arm is awkward, that position doesn't move. As we're collecting the intersection cameras, we have this dead space with no traffic cameras. So I sent 2 detectives to canvass that area to find any kind of video to determine where Sam's vehicle went. There's a Burger King restaurant. Sam actually turns into this fast food restaurant.
And there's a camera that looks right through the drive-through window. And as Sam pulls up, you can see Eileen in that passenger seat. And the entire time you don't see her move. You see her in that same position, leaning against the passenger side window.
I don't know if she was dead at that point in time, but I do know that she was unmoving. She was not conscious, but it just blew my mind. I couldn't believe that someone would drive through a drive-through and order food or drink with a possible dead body next to him.
The evidence was starting to build towards Sam being involved in what happened to Eileen, and not Mike.
We had a very good idea that he was responsible for whatever happened to Eileen, but a gut feeling doesn't convict someone of any crime. We have to have evidence. During an investigation of a suspect, we are going to look at all aspects of a person's life. And part of a person's life is their financial. We need to know what he's doing financially. Is he depositing money? Is he taking money out? Is he getting ready to take off? When we finally received the records from Sam's bank, and as I'm scrolling through and looking through all the records of Sam's bank account, I see a deposit, a handwritten deposit slip that says $1,200. And immediately I stopped. And I looked at the date, and the date was February 15th.
2 days after Eileen went missing.
We were able to get that security footage of when Sam made that deposit.
When I watched that footage, I was just amazed because this is very important. I can see the exterior of the building, Sam pull into the lot and get out of his 1999 blue Ford pickup truck. And he walks into the bank. He walks up to the teller and he pulls out a stack of cash and she counts it out. It's $1,200. This is 2 days after Eileen went missing, carrying a safe that held $1,200 cash.
This isn't your typical murder investigation. You didn't have a gun or a knife on the scene that you could link to the suspect. You had a lot of circumstantial evidence. It was obvious that Sam had been lying about his whereabouts that day. All arrows point at Sam.
We're compiling a lot against Sam Brammer right now, and when you put all that together, it's a pretty significant case. So we finally took the next step. We had enough probable cause to arrest him. But as we enter that residence, we don't know what Sam's mental state is right at that point in time. We don't know if he's armed. We don't know if there's any weapons inside the residence. So at this point, we know who Sam is, what he's done, not how he did it, but we know that he's responsible for this. I know he's depositing Eileen's money. This is the beginning of the end for Sam.
Step out here. Show us your hands. No.
No.
Hey.
Okay. Come here. You got a warrant for your arrest. I'll let you smoke that if you just.
Let me put it up here. What am I on arrest for?
I'll explain it here in a minute, all right? Nothing, no drugs, needles, or anything like that? Weapons or anything? No? Okay.
When somebody is continually lying to you and continually make up stories, and you know that they were involved in something as heinous as a murder, it really shows how cold-hearted they are, that there is no remorse in their heart.
The autopsy took a very long time to come back, but we had asphyxiation by homicide. That was the information we needed to have to go forward with a homicide charge. On the morning of February 13th, 2023, when Eileen got into the truck with Sam Brammer, I think that it was just that volatile relationship. That's all it was. Sheer jealousy and anger. And something snapped. And that is when he assaulted her and he twisted her coat, causing that mark on her neck, on this side actually, caused that mark on her neck, and twisted that so tightly that she asphyxiated and she died. He caused her death. He murdered her. Then her body is thrown out like trash. In the end, we absolutely had proof positive that Mike had nothing to do with this. He was just a nice guy trying to help out an acquaintance.
In January of 2024, Sam Brammer was sentenced for the murder of Eileen Gowan. He received 65 years for that. He received 10 years for the abuse of a corpse, and an additional 5 years for stealing the money out of Eileen's safe. A guilty verdict is always great. It couldn't bring Eileen back, but at least we knew that Sam couldn't do this to anybody else. I think the thing that stands out with Sam's behavior with this is just leaving Eileen discarded on the road like that. He knew Eileen's daughter. He knew Eileen's family. He knew the amount of pain and hurt this was going to cause these people, but he still did it anyway.
When a body is thrown out like trash, amongst trash, and just left, you try to separate yourself from it, but those memories and the things that you see, they never leave you. They just stick with you. This was completely senseless. And this poor woman lost her life. Her family lost their mother, their grandmother, their daughter.
I'm so sorry that I couldn't do nothing to help her that day. I wish I would have known that she was in trouble and that she was the best mom. The hardest part of it is my mom shouldn't have died the way she did. She shouldn't have been beaten. She shouldn't have been left in the ditch by herself. That's the hardest part for me is I feel like if it was a natural way of dying, it would be easier for me to understand and deal with. But for her life to be taken, it's the hardest part.
A life was taken in silence, hidden behind lies and betrayal. But truth doesn't stay buried. Through evidence and persistence, justice spoke. Guilty, not just of murder, but of cruelty beyond measure. And while the verdict brings justice, the loss remains forever.